Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and glory, forever and ever. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kevin, you want to move this item C to later on in the meeting?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
I mean,
We'll just skip that
for chance if
right
we're just
now.
running late, yeah, just
Okay.
skip it.
All right, move on to item D, is approval of minutes. In the absence of any objections or corrections, the minutes from October 4th, 2021, regular council meeting minutes will stand approved. All right, hearing none, stand approved. Okay, item E, citizen communication. If there's anyone that is in the audience or on WebEx here that would like to address council, anything that is not on the agenda, please do so by typing in the chat. And item F, reports from council committees. F1, electric committee on October 11th, 2021 was canceled by the chair. F2, water, sewer, refuse, recycling, and litter committee met on October 11th. Jeff?
Thank you, Council President. We received an update on the progress of the wastewater treatment plant rehab project and discussion to establish the Water Rate Review Commission.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Item F3, municipal property, building, land use, and economic development committee did not meet in October due to lack of agenda items, and nor did the Parks and Rec committee meet.
I think our guest is here.
See that? All right, I think we will jump back to item C.
Yes, Council
Okay.
President, if that's okay with you.
Yes, so presentation by the State Auditor's Office. And welcome.
So sorry about that.
Oh,
You guys
that-
are quick.
That's okay.
I pulled in, it said 7, but thank you for having me this evening. And I don't know if you guys remember, I was here not that long ago. So Lori Brody with State Auditor Favors Office. But I'm just here tonight to congratulate you guys and thank you for working so hard and receiving the Auditor State Award with distinction. And I just had a couple comments about it I'd like to make. This award is presented to the city of Napoleon, and it puts it in a very select group. This award with distinctions only received by about 3 to 5% of our entities, and we audit about 6,000 people, entities, and governments in the state of Ohio. So I just like to mention that because it's extra special, because you guys go the extra mile. And again, it's given to local governments, and it's a short list here, but you have to complete a comprehensive annual financial report, or a CAFR, and you have to do it within 6 months of fiscal year end. You have to have a clean audit with no findings for recovery or material citations, material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, single audit findings, or question cost. Nice long list. You have to have no other financial concerns. And then in the management letter that comes with your audit, and that sometimes has lesser comments in it, you have to have the same thing: no ethics referrals, no question cost, no significant problems whatsoever, which is hard to do. So I think it's important to note that it represents all the hard work of everybody in the city, because it really does take everybody, because everybody every day is doing something that affects something in finance. And so I like to thank just all the employees, but I wanted to thank the mayor and council as well, because I think you have to really watch every dollar in the budget to make sure everything goes well. But I especially want to thank a couple people. Your administrator, he is here, but I think we have to thank your previous finance director, Kelly. So here's to Kelly too. But I also want to thank your incoming finance director, who I also know, so because he's going to win it again next year. So he has a bunch. He has many from the county, but we're counting on it. No, but I just hope you guys know. I think it takes everybody, and I really appreciate the effort of everybody. But Auditor Faber really appreciates everyone who takes the time and wins the awards. So. It does have Joel's name on it because at the time they printed it,
Oh, gosh.
you were actually the interim finance director on here, but I just kept it that way because I figured Kevin would say, hey, but, so anyway, it does have that on there because I think at the time Kelly had already left, so.
Yeah.
I guess you were everything, so. But, congratulations to all of you.
Thank you very much.
It's a really a big honor, and I'm glad I could come down, and sorry I was a couple minutes late.
No,
so.
no,
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll give it to you.
Hey, you give it-
I'll hand it to the finance
Yeah,
guy.
you-
He'll take care of it. Yeah, you can like white his name out. Sure. I can hand it to him.
got us locked in.
Oh my goodness, safety.
Yeah. You gonna do it there, or you do it back up here, Brian?
It's up to you.
It's up to you, Kevin, it's up
We
to
can
you.
just do it right.
Okay.
Here, we'll open it up. Giving it to the
Open it up,
city.
says Joel.
Wipe that out.
You know,
Thank
he
you
does
so
is
much for
sit
your
there and
time.
blush.
Yes. Thanks for your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thanks.
Stayed on. Thank you.
All right, let's move on to item H, is introduction of new ordinances and resolutions. And we have, item H1 is ordinance number 042-21, and ordinance supplementing the annual appropriation measure supplement number 5 for the year 2021 and declaring an emergency. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Finance Director? How are you today, sir?
Didn't we skip G,
Yes.
Yeah, as you always do.
as we always
In
do?
Yeah.
Okay.
parentheses, informational only, not read.
Okay.
Yeah.
These are the typical things that we have every quarter. They were in your packet. There's nothing that's too out of the ordinary with this. I will just caution everybody that the fourth quarter one will be a bigger one because that's the crunch time of the year. But this ordinance and as for the next ordinance, it's, I put explanations on all of those. I mean, there was a few odd things that worked along the year, but nothing that I would say that's too out of the ordinary.
Okay.
I'll be more than happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Any questions or comments? Nope. Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes?
Molly.
Yes.
All right, moving on to item H2, ordinance number 043-21, an ordinance authorizing the finance director to make transfer of appropriation 3 from one appropriation line item to another appropriation line item pursuant to ORC section 570.40 for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021, as listed in Exhibit A, and declaring an emergency. Have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Kevin?
Again, these are the typical items that we have about this time of year. I just didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Again, my disclaimer is also, this is my first time through, so there's learning as we go, but again, it's nothing, I would anticipate more of these at the end of the fourth quarter, around December with that. So
You're
just a
looking
heads
at
up.
them really close so we get the award again next year, right?
Yeah, she's still here, so we
Yes.
need
May I ask, Council President?
Yes, sir.
Typically, I noticed we usually pass them under suspension, the supplementals. So I don't know if we wanted to do that with reconsider suspending item 1, and then, but I just wanted to point that out, because the
Right.
suspension's not written on there, it's just, that's uncustomary.
You want to remind us as to why?
Yes, it's to,
A lot of that's the timing of it is that because these were done in last quarter of September, instead of having 3 readings, it would really log that. So if we would, I would ask that it does get passed with suspension so that it could be official and we can move forward to the next quarter.
All right, thank you. Say we finish this one now, so if someone like make a motion to, for suspension for this one.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll on suspension.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
Okay, is there any other questions or comments regarding the ordinance? Okay, hearing none, Rox, please call the roll on the ordinance.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
Okay, the ordinance has passed under suspension on first read. Do you remember how to do that? Consider?
And you're gonna have a motion to reconsider, right? Is what you need?
So you've taken a vote on and I'll let the clerk, I don't want to step on your toes. So you've taken a vote on the ordinance itself. You could, at this point, in my opinion, vote on suspension of the rules. I mean, suspension of the rules is just the suspending of the 3-read rule.
Okay.
So if you wanted to take that vote now, regarding ordinance 42, I believe that you could.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
Okay, so ordinance number 042-21 has been passed under suspension on first read. Joel, I appreciate that, because I really didn't want to read that one 3 times, thing appropriation like 8 times.
We can make it more convoluted.
I'm sure you can.
Really beef it up there if you like.
Only if you can add 2 appurtenances.
Right.
There you go.
We woke kind of up on that one. Moving on to item I, second readings, ordinances and resolutions. I-1 is ordinance number 039-21, an ordinance amending chapter 913 of the City of Napoleon Codified Ordinances, construction and repair of sidewalks, driveways, and abutting improvements, specifically by amending section 913.02 regarding the contribution of cost by city, repealing a certain section of ordinance number 111-02 and declaring an emergency. Have a motion?
A motion.
Second.
All right. Joel?
Thank you, Council President. So as we discussed in previous meetings, what this ordinance would do is allow residents, which the rule already exists, to apply to the city to get reimbursed for replacement of curb in front of their residence or business, and replace sidewalks in front of their residence or business. And the city would reimburse, right now the rule is that we reimburse $20 per linear foot of curb and $1.50 per square foot of sidewalk. This would essentially double that to $40 per linear feet and $3 per square foot. So haven't heard any discussions or comments from anybody from the public, so requesting second read.
Okay. Any comments or questions regarding this?
Joel, I think Councilman Commodore asked last meeting if we're doing enough to raise this. After looking into it, I'm kind of in the same mind frame. Are we doing enough to credit? So did just a little bit of research on the costs for the citizen. By going to $3 per square foot, that's roughly 54% of the average cost for the sidewalk. What is our budget for this? How healthy is that budget, I guess? Do we have room where we could potentially do more?
There's room. We do, right now, we budget for 25,000 per year. That's just been a standard number. And some years it gets used more than others, but typically we don't really break 10,000, at least in the most recent years. But, you know, I think we have a couple of applications that are pending.
3 that are waiting for this to pass.
So it's, I mean, the word's gotten out a little bit. You know, are we doing enough? I mean, that's subjective, I guess.
I wonder if we could just
So-
kind of, sorry to
No,
interrupt,
go ahead,
wait and
please.
see, like, how many people apply for it and how much money is used from it, and then kind of reevaluate next year.
This is out of our capital budget too, so 400 count, which is typically our, you know, roads and
I think one of the most common complaints that I hear from citizens is, hey, why don't you guys do something about XYZ sidewalk? It's like, well, it's not really our responsibility. So I would love to do more. I understand we're gonna raise it, so if we need some time to kind of evaluate where that puts us, I completely understand that. But I feel even with the raise, if we're not passing $10,000 on a frequent basis, in my mind, we still have $5,000 to play with, right? So why not bump it up closer to 70% of the average? If not more, if we can.
I was chatting, what is the typical cost per linear foot and square foot?
Right now, for sidewalks, a lot of homeowners are getting about $10 a square foot for their cost. Curb is usually a by job, because somebody's not usually wanting to put in 100 feet of curb. They might wanna do 20 feet in front of their driveway. Well, the scale of it dictates the cost per foot. That one's a little tougher. Trying to think of one I've got right now. I think the contractor was gonna quote the individual around $1,700 to $1,800, and it was gonna be about 30 to 40 feet. So,
Just to give everybody that reference.
Yeah. In that $10, that's even higher than what I found. But I don't know. I feel like if we can give back to the citizens, let's do it. But I understand we have to keep in mind it's all taxpayer money, so.
It's not being used.
I don't wanna raise it to be double what it is now, or, you know, go from $3 a square for sidewalks to $450, and then that $25,000 is gone by June. And then we gotta turn people away. I'd rather just, agree with what Molly said, just let's do this, we'll see.
Yeah.
See where we are, and then we either can adjust how much we can adjust the 25 to be more, or we can adjust this. But if we have 3 people waiting, that means you're gonna have more demand on that 25 as it is.
Right.
But I don't wanna be out of that, I don't wanna put more into that. I think we're doing a great thing by doubling what we have, and that's a really big gift,
Yeah.
you know, so that's where I'm at on
Is there a motion you want to make, or?
More opening it up for conversation. Yeah.
We can revisit this next year.
Anytime we want.
Whenever you like.
Yep, whenever we
It can
want.
be revisited anytime. But we're doubling it right now, that's enough, I feel it.
But I think that's a good point.
And
Go ahead.
Council President, just a question, and Joel, let's say we reach 25,000. Is that a max?
No,
Is that a budget increase that they have to approve
Yeah,
later?
Yeah.
it would be a supplement, or, you know, you gotta appropriate from the unencumbered balance of the capital fund or transfer from general fund.
And that's never been reached, so it's never been an issue.
Correct.
But I would just be cautious to that if you make it 80, 90%, or even 100%, believe me, they'll get fixed.
That's the goal, though. And I'm
Right,
like,
it is the goal.
and you know me, I'm a huge proponent of, you know, walkability, bikeability. I think every neighborhood should, you know, have that access. So, if, you know, there are issues in certain neighborhoods that need sidewalks repaired, this is the ticket.
And actually,
Increasing it is,
it is listed in here that we are capping, it says capping the budgeted amount at $25,000.
that,
And we can always go back and change that too. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you can always go back and revisit it, but I would actually throw caution in that if we've already got 3 people waiting,
Right.
then this is doing what it's supposed to do and encourage people to do it.
yeah, and the size of those, I think one of them's small, it's a curb right in front of a driveway. One of them's pretty significant, and I don't know what.
In total, with the 3, I think the reimbursements are around 1,500, maybe
Yeah.
2,000.
Let's do it, yeah.
Mhm.
But we, ballparking, I don't think we've spent 5,000 this year,
Right.
not including these 3 things.
I think drawing attention to it also.
Yeah, I think,
is good.
I think you're drawing attention to it, I think you're doing it at the right
That was the whole
time to draw
point.
attention to it, you know, this is the time when people are thinking, you know, are thinking next year, what can I do, you know, and when word gets out, you know, it gets published in papers and those kinds of things, I think we'll see an increase, you already have 3 on deck, so.
Where can citizens go to get more information on this specifically?
The,
The engineering department's in charge of the program, however, all the ladies up front have the information as well.
Okay.
So if they call in, usually the person that answers the phone can provide them that.
there are a lot of programs like this one that, you know, we can post on Chad's website, the city website. Not that that gets a lot of hits, but, you know, if we do like a share on Facebook, just kind of putting it out there to everybody.
Mhm.
Yep.
Maybe in the spring, maybe one in the fall, maybe one right now.
I always think about it when I'm shoveling snow and hit one of those cracks.
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to have that dialogue. Thank you.
That was just sidewalks, drive aprons.
Drive aprons are the responsibility of the truck.
Okay. And that's 0%, you said number 3 is 0%, but. Just.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
All right, that will be moving on to third read. We have item I2, ordinance number 041-21, an ordinance amending certain City of Napoleon traffic schedules, specifically Schedule 3, stop and yield intersections as listed in the attached Exhibit A, and repealing ordinance number 096-07, 112-07, and 034-20, and declaring an emergency. I have a motion?
Motion.
So moved. Over a second.
All right. Joel?
Thank you, Council President. This ordinance would make the intersection of Bales and Westmoreland an all-way stop. I haven't heard any comments from the public.
Not lately, and the county has approved their portion.
Thank you.
I want to make a motion that we move this up. I make a motion for suspension.
Second that.
I'll second.
And do you want to add to why you want to move it up?
Yeah, but it's a bad, this whole thing is bad. Let's get it done before something happens. I know the mayor talked today. It's gonna take probably until, what, December or Thanksgiving time, December, before we get something.
Cause you gotta put up, how long do they have to be up, Chad? You gotta put up, intersection or traffic changing, right, signs for a certain amount of time before you can actually
Signs
step.
can be put up whenever this passes. We will put, we're also putting up stop ahead signs.
Okay,
We can put up traffic pattern change signs. I apologize, I don't remember the exact wording on
right.
it. But when this passes, they can go up,
The stop signs can go up right away?
yeah.
Okay,
And I believe Jeff has them,
okay,
or has ours, the county has theirs.
okay. I thought we had to put up a traffic changing first
The
and
only
then,
time we have to have a week is if it's a traffic signal, we put them up and they have to stay in flash for 1 week before we can put them into service.
okay,
But with the stop sign, as long as we have the changing traffic pattern and the stop head signs, and we have stakes up out there for where everything's gonna go.
okay, thank you.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll on suspension.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan,
No.
Joe,
No.
Lori,
No.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
No.
Okay, so, all right, can you call the roll on the ordinance, please?
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
Okay, that ordinance will move on to third read. Alright. Item J, third readings of ordinances and resolutions. Resolution number 036-21, a resolution approving the addition of a $50 surcharge to the City of Napoleon, Ohio employee health insurance premiums for the years 2022, 2023, and 2024, amending resolution number 033-20, and declaring an emergency. Do you have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Thank you,
Joel?
Council President. This would, ordinance would allow us to enter into a 3-year contract with Borma, be renewal, and implement our wellness, our internal wellness program for 3 years that coincides with the contract with Borma.
Okay. Anyone have any questions or comments? Rox, please call the roll.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
Okay, that has passed on third read. Moving on to item J2, resolution number 037-21, a resolution authorizing a community reinvestment area, CRA, agreement with Keller Logistics Incorporated with Napoleon CRA number 7 and declaring an emergency. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Joel?
Thank you, Council President. So, council already passed the ordinance to enter into the agreement with Keller Logistics. That's the development agreement and real estate purchase agreement. This is for the CRA. The schools have already approved of this. This would be the final read, and we are waiting on a closing date. I think we're honing in on that right now for the property. Just as a reminder, it's a 100,000 square foot minimum spec building that Keller Logistics would be building. And the last piece of the puzzle here is that we're waiting for approval from the OSIP program from Jobs Ohio on a funding application that's been submitted to them. So last I knew, last week, Keller Logistics was coming up with additional information that was requested by Jobs Ohio. So once he provides that information, hopefully there's an approval, we can move forward with the closing, sign all the documents, and then I think he's looking to order the building and maybe even break ground. We're getting a little late in the year to break ground this year, but he's looking to get started right away.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Rox, please call the roll.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
Okay, that has passed on third read. Item J3 is resolution number 038-21, a resolution authorizing the expenditure of funds over $25,000 for the implementation of an upgrade of the water basin controls, which was not included in the 2021 master bid resolution for the City of Napoleon, Ohio water and wastewater treatment plants, and to sole source said implementation to Kester Corp. And declaring an emergency. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Joel?
Thank you. Nothing new to report on this one, just requesting third read.
All right. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Rox, please call the roll.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
That is passed on third read. Okay, moving on to item K, good of the city. K1, discussion or action, power supply cost adjustment factor for October 2021 as 3-month average factor PSCA 0.00591 and JV2 0.044282. Joel?
Thank you. This month was a good month for us, for an August. Usage was way up. So the billing month is for October, it's the August usage month, but if you look in previous years, typically the largest usage month is in July, and then it kind of starts to taper out in August, September, and you get into the fall. In this case, we had a hotter August, higher usage month. So good for us, and the power supply cost adjustment factor is probably the lowest it's been since, well, if you look back over the last 2 years, probably the lowest it's been since before the hydro plants kicked in and wound up showing up on our rates. So it's a good sign.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Give a motion to accept the power cost adjustment factor.
So moved.
Second.
Hey, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
All right, moving on to item K2, discussion or action, Ritter Park Path Project, Hen Napoleon Bike and Ped, PID number 109008. Anything to
No,
discuss
just
on that?
requesting legislation. Chad, do you want to explain the reason?
The PAT project where we received the TAP grant, this is the project that will connect the multi-use path out in the county, run it down Jans Road to Ritter Park. We'll get into the park, and then we will connect to the downtown. The grant we received was from ODOT. As has happened a few times in the past, ODOT operating on a state fiscal year does not match the city's fiscal year. I was notified 2 weeks ago tomorrow, of course, the Tuesday after council meeting, that they want this project awarded by January 14th. It's not in our 21 master bid ordinance. We were planning to build it next year as directed by ODOT. I found out a couple weeks ago we have to bid it this year. So this legislation is just to request that we are able to put this project out for bid. Vast majority of the project is funded through the TAP grant. I believe the estimate on the project is approximately $830,000, and the grant is roughly $800,000. And I believe, Kevin, I think we got the grant from OD&R for some of the design.
Yes.
I think we received that grant last week. That was, I believe, $48,000.
Yeah.
So, I was told I have to put it out for bid by ODOT, I'm just asking for permission to do that.
Okay, thank you for that explanation.
It caught me by surprise.
And this is enough time if we have legislation next meeting.
I ran the calendar math with Roxanne, and I think we've got it set up, we can get through
Okay. Great.
Are
All
you
right.
requesting suspension on
it.
any of
I
them?
think when we ran the numbers, we could take 2 reads on it if you wanted to, and still meet the timeline. I'll never turn down suspension, that gives me more time to advertise, which I always get nervous around Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Mhm.
But we would need to award it at the first council meeting in January.
Okay. All right, could I have a motion to direct the law director to draft legislation?
So move.
Second.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
All right, item K3, discussion or action, change order number 6, final American Road Improvement Project. Chad again?
Yes, excuse me. Requesting approval for change order number 6. This is the Loves project, not the one we saw this year. This was the one from last year. As you may have noticed, we just recently got the signals up. We're able to close the project out. And we ran the project for the development because of some of the grant funding that was attached. The city is not paying this bill. But to keep everything clean, and since it does go through the city, and I can only approve a $25,000 change order, I thought it should probably bring it to you for your approval. But this cost will be paid by Loves themselves, not the city. And it's just to close out the project with the final tabulated quantities.
So how will we receive the funds from Love's
No.
first?
What we do is we prepare the pay applications and we send them to Maumee Valley, and Rox can correct me if I'm wrong. We send them to Maumee Valley. Maumee Valley coordinates the payment between Loves directly to, in this case, Vernon Nagel. They were the contractor on the job, so we don't see it at all. All the pass-throughs actually go through Maumee Valley, not the city. But someone had to run the project, so my staff and I ran the project. And so we took the quantities and ran it like we would a city project because of the grant monies that were attached.
So there's no physical dollars leaving the city and going to
Correct.
Maumee
No
Valley?
money in or out of our books.
Okay, great.
But it runs through our books since it's our asset.
Thank you. Okay, could I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
All right, that's been approved. Item K4, discussion or action, renewal of recycling contract with Whirler Waste Control. Joel?
Thank you. Chad, do you want to explain this?
I can. Over the last few years, we've been having extensions of our contract with Whirler. They've been one-year extensions. When we approached them recently, they actually requested that we do a 3-year extension. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no increase in cost. The cost would remain the same, but it would hold those prices for us for 3 years. We've been dealing with Whirler as long as I've been here. So we're just requesting to extend the current contract instead of 1 year, have the contract for 3.
We need legislation for that, please.
Okay. Jeff, you have any questions or concerns there?
I'm thinking it's time that we get rid of this program. We don't have the staff,
What program?
the recycling program, because last week, there was no recycling at my house. It all went in the garbage.
Jeff, you drive around and those red bins are everywhere.
That's right.
And there's usually plastic and paper and those things in there. And there is a cost, but there's also a cost of being a leader in recycling. And I'd rather recycle that stuff and say we as a city recycle than just take it all on landfill. And I know there's a cost, I understand,
Right?
right? But in my mind, I have no problem paying for recycling and trying to do what we can as far as recycling program.
You got staffing issues too now. I'm saying you got personnel that are bringing people out of other departments to do these programs. That's something that you guys are gonna have to look at budget time this year. I guess, I talk to workers all the time. You need to go out there and physically talk to these guys and see what's going on.
So with that being said, if we decide to do a 3-year contract, and then 8 months from now, we revisit Jeff's idea here, what would it take to get out of that contract?
We gotta write something, like a termination clause in the contract.
I'd have to check the contract.
Yeah.
I don't recall exactly what it says about termination necessarily. There's likely a penalty in there for some sort of early termination. But I haven't memorized all of our contracts. So.
No?
Yeah, it's a good program, but when you start throwing the garbage or the recycling in the garbage, you're defeating your purpose.
So who is doing that?
Hmm?
Who is doing that?
They did that last week.
Oh, you're saying the garbage men?
My garbage and recycling went all into the garbage last week.
Oh, I see.
That went, was that during cleanup
Wednesday.
week?
Wednesday.
Was that cleanup? That wasn't cleanup week then?
Nope.
So is that,
To the best of my knowledge, we only do that during cleanup.
yeah, and it's on occasion, an occasional cleanup week, so that's a surprise to me if that, the recycling went in the garbage.
It was done.
It seems like administrative staff is suggesting a 3-year extension would be ideal, so I don't know what council thinks of that.
All right. So we just need a motion to,
Pardon me, I don't mean to interrupt.
Mhm.
May I?
yes,
Chad, the contract expires when?
December, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't wanna say it's the end of the year, but I believe it's December.
Yeah, I think is it December 1 maybe?
You might be right, maybe December 1.
December 31st of 21 is what it says there.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
a different.
That's a different, yeah, this is a
Yeah.
different one.
and tonight, all we need to do is make a motion to direct the law director to
Yeah.
draft
I mean,
legislation,
we'll
then
bring
we
the
can.
legislation, and if the
Right.
council has a change of heart, you can always vote it down. It's
Right.
up to you.
Okay,
It's always an item we can assign to the committee too. We just got the cleanup week totals, so we can talk about it then. In the committee.
That's fine, I'm just.
We've talked about it before.
Sure.
May I ask a question? What is our typical cost increase on the 1-year contract?
For recycling?
Yeah.
I don't think we've had one since, except for the year I started, there was an increase. So there hasn't been one since for the 3 years, essentially.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, if I understand things right, there's no increase in cost in this 3-year.
No. They said on a 3-year contract, there would be no increase for the 3 years.
Mr. President, though, if they started to not take as many items, then essentially that would be an increase.
If you're referring to like when glass was no longer taken, that could be an issue. However, across the industry, I haven't heard of anything else coming. Glass, we knew it was gonna come, we just didn't know when. I haven't heard of any other items that are coming that will be difficult or no longer allowed to be recycled. That's not to say it couldn't happen. We just haven't heard of anything, and we haven't heard any rumors.
It's a commodity, they're all commodities, so the prices fluctuate. Steel's up, that's what helped us in some of our totals with, this year at least, with cleanup week. I think it's if the chair has a concern over it, I think it's worthy of a discussion in the committee.
I'm
we start
voicing my
there?
opinion. I'm just saying. You got a contract, it may be time to do something. But that's everybody's decision.
Mr. Chairman, if this went to a committee, which I have no problem with, but would there be enough time then to get it through council if council would decide to pass that by the deadline?
it's actually what I was thinking, is just having the law director draft legislation. We have the opportunity of 3 reads to have further discussion, and if there's other information that we would like from staff, we can ask and get a little bit of information back.
Or just put in there the termination clause.
I mean, they still have to sign it too. So, changing the substantive terms could cause a lot more discussion, I guess, between the parties. I don't know what they would be willing to accept as far as potential termination clauses go, or.
I'll make the motion to direct the law director to draft legislation for this.
Second.
Hey, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes?
Molly?
Yes.
All right. Item K5, discussion and action, application for body worn cameras grant for the police department.
Chief?
Hello, chief.
Just became available in the last several months from the Department or Ohio Attorney General. So we're just asking for permission basically to apply for it and see if we can receive any funds for our program. It's a substantial cost. So if we can get a grant, that would be a significant savings to our residents. Currently, we do not have a body worn camera program.
Do we know what percentage of the cost this grant would cover?
The way I understand it, it'd be 100%. I say that with a little bit of caution because the last quote I got is a little bit different than what I have in my capital budget and that I requested. So there might be about $4,000 out of 100 and some that we might have to cover depending on how that comes back
Okay,
roughly.
right,
So we have to spend $4,000 to get over $100,000 worth of goods?
yeah.
That worst case scenario right now.
Can we say pass now, or are we gonna wait till it comes back?
If we're successful at it. that would-
Yeah,
that would be
that's-
true.
All right. All right. Thank you, chief. All right. I'll entertain a motion for the grant and application.
So moved.
Second.
Rox, please call the roll.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes?
Molly?
Yes.
All right. Item K6, discussion and action on moratorium for certain residential building permit fees.
Thank you, Council President. So this has been something that's been in place for a few years now, where council approved of establishing a moratorium on certain construction fees for new buildings, specifically for residential. So, I actually did talk to a builder today, and I've talked to him in the past, and certainly appreciates the city taking this step and helping incentivize some of the builders, build more residential. I don't know about you, but I hear more and more that, there's still a need for, new housing in the community, and we're still seeing more construction happening, so that's a good sign. I think we didn't put this through to the committee. The last time we had a committee meeting on it, I think it lasted a whole 5 minutes. So it was more or less just bring it back to full council and see if it's something that council wants to consider renewing for another year, or not. But overall, I think that there's been positive feedback with this.
I move that we extend the moratorium for one more year.
Via legislation, correct?
Sure.
That's what I heard.
I'm passing it.
All by yourself.
I second that.
Hey, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes?
Molly?
Yes.
Okay. Item K7, discussion or action on review of council rules. What I thought we'd do here is just kind of have a test to see how many people have lived through it really well.
Cool.
So, first question goes to the mayor. I hope everyone just had the chance to take a look at it a little bit deeper and familiarize yourself with some of our own rules. And if you have any questions, we'll entertain them now. If there's enough concerns or questions, then we can revisit the ad hoc committee.
Yeah, I was mistaken, so that committee was dissolved, so if you want to, I mean, you just create it again, and
Right.
fill it again, so if
Okay.
that's something you wanna do.
But if nobody has any questions or concerns on it, we'll just keep it the way it is and just make sure we keep that handy and pay attention to it. All right, so we'll move on to go around the table here. Joel, you want to go first today?
Yeah, I'll go first.
All right.
I'm gonna request go into executive session related to economic development as it relates to request of incentives.
That'll do.
Okay. And one of the, another housing builder, I talked to him about the Keller Logistics agreement and the construction of a spec building, and he was very positive about the project overall. Said that, you know, this is somebody that's been here a long time. Said that, you know, these are the things we need. This helps him, this helps other businesses when you have this type of growth. So he had a lot of positive things to say about the agreement with Keller Logistics. So hopefully we can nail that down, finish it off, and you know, see construction next year. And you know, hopefully the jobs come following that, just like the other one. So and like with Jack Products coming here, we just saw that cascading effect. Just seemed like right after that, it was housing builds, commercial builds, and then kind of we're coming back full circle again. So just wanted to point out that there's been some positive feedback on this. I haven't really heard any negative on it at all. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Billy?
Nothing from me, thank you.
Okay, Molly?
Thank you. I wanted to give a shout out to the Napoleon Fire Department for the preschool field trips. It was fun to see the kids interact with the fire department while they had all their, you know, garb on, so they wouldn't be scared. They did a wonderful job. You know, they talked to the preschoolers. They were patient with them. You know how preschoolers can be, so. They did a great job, and I think that was St. Paul set that up, so.
Great.
Nice job to them. Thank you.
Mhm. Hey, Jeff?
Nothing tonight.
All right.
Just sorry.
Oh, you're up. I was getting ready to say it. Lori, go ahead.
Just congratulations on the award that we received tonight, and thank you all for your hard work in assuring that we receive that. I have complete confidence, Kevin, that that will happen again next year.
Thank you.
That's all for me.
It's got a long list. Mr. Mayor?
Kevin, you better take a recognition of this and say thank you very much, because you're gonna blame for a bunch of stuff that you have nothing to do with either. So you better take praise when you can get it. You know, but I think the auditor said it best, you know, it goes to the finance department, but it's all the other departments working together, and just all the stuff that they do day in and day out that, you know, culminates in an award like this, you know, as long as, you know, every department's doing what they're supposed to do and tracking the stuff that they're supposed to track, it all flows into the finance department. So, you know, great job for them, you know, to hear your finance department's in the top 3 to 5% in the state, you know, or overall for our fiscal stuff, I think it just speaks well for everybody. So again, congratulations to that. But, you know, it goes to that. Electric department went to AMP and got all kinds of awards. Hopefully they took a wheelbarrow to bring them all home. You know, Parks and Rec had a great year in the golf course and the pool. You know, police department does a great job, fire department does everybody just keeps doing just such a good job, and we have so much to be proud of. A lot of work yet to do, but just really, really proud of where we are right now. So, that is where I am. We talked about budget meetings last time, and I'm gonna be on the 11th and 13th. Typically, the charter says the mayor has to present a budget. So that would be typically on the 15th of November. to turn that budget that quick from numbers on paper to a presentation, when you end Saturday at noon and to present it that Monday night is really, really tight. So what I hope we can do is have a special council meeting along with the Finance and Budget Committee on Monday, November the 22nd. Yeah, that's the Monday before Thanksgiving, but I think I'll be much better prepared to present the budget at that time. We still could have 3 reads, that'd be the first one, and come back for 2 reads in December, so I'm gonna bring that up, so, that's what I have.
All right, thank you. I wanted to say the same thing about the award today. It says a lot for every department. We know we've had multiple finance directors in the last 4 years, and for the city to continue to receive these awards, it just shows that there's a lot of teamwork involved, and not taking away from our awesome finance director at all, but it's nice to know that there's collaboration between all of our department heads and everything, so just want to give a shout out to each and every one of them. And that's all I have. Dan?
Just a couple things. One, I do not believe we have anything on the agenda for safety and human resources for next week.
Correct.
And also, just a clarification point for Roxanne on that. In the past, in November, until last year, we were meeting with the townships, and then we met with them in November, and we met with them again in February. But the fire chief's recommendation and the previous finance director's recommendation was just to be meeting in February. So I'm assuming that November thing should probably be removed from, I don't know if it has been, but maybe removed from the ongoing meetings of that committee. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Just to confirm it, I'll check with the clerk and chief.
Okay. So, Mr. Finance Director, that doesn't affect you yet then. You got to February to work with the townships, which can be enjoyable
Yes.
for the finance department. So anyway, I will leave it at that. And my other question is, Chad,
Yes, sir.
how are we progressing on Michigan and North Sheffield?
We placed the curb today. Wednesday, Thursday will be the flat work for the driveways on North Sheffield. They should have gotten wedges in on Michigan today so people could access their driveways because they were out of them way too long. Wednesday, Thursday, flat work. Friday, we'll probably be doing some more topsoil, and then next week sometime we're looking to mill and possibly pave if the weather cooperates.
I was just wondering, so we didn't get into the too late.
Correct. The completion date for that project's the end of the month, and we should be real close. Yeah, I think we'll be good.
Okay. That's all, sir.
Thank you. Ken?
I have nothing.
All right, Ross?
When we were discussing the Ritter Park area path project, it made me think, Chad, I'm gonna put you on the spot one more time. Do you have any idea the amount of grant money that you've worked on the city being able to receive this year?
This year, we'll get approximately 800,000 through the TAP grant. We got 48,000 through ODNR. We are the highest rated project for issue 2 money at $260,000. We get that, the award will be end of the year or next year. We're also the highest rated project coming out of Henry County for this stimulus. I don't think it's technically Biden bucks, but I don't know what it's called, this infrastructure money they're putting out there. I applied for $1 million towards Lynn Avenue improvements. We've got $275,000 for issue 2 on Oberhaus, that'll be this year. I believe it's about $260,000 on Front Palmer. And then, there's also the loan money. We got $14 million for the wastewater plant at 0.37%. And Van Heining's advertising right now, that's $1.625 million, and that'll probably be about 0.67%. I think that's what we got this year.
So my rough calculation, just shy of $3.5 million grant money.
Yeah.
I just wanted to recognize that and say thank you. Really appreciate it. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Kevin?
I too have a matter for executive session when we go there for personnel.
Okay.
So once we get to that point, I'll have that to discuss. The award that was won tonight was certainly nothing that I had anything to do with, but I just want to mention that, you know, I inherited five great ladies in my department. They've been nothing but helpful. They've been really just picking up, teaching me the way, and I give them full credit. I told them about the award of that we won it. It's not just them, but they're a big credit to that in my eyes.
Yep.
I do have to state that Kelly put us in a position to succeed. Looking at some of her old files, some of her old spreadsheets and items like that, I've been able to pick up on and reuse and move forward with that. And I'd also have to state there are a lot of things that are in place that Greg Heath did prior to him retiring. That put us in such a positive position to be able to win this type of award. So, you know, I got to give credit, go clear back to him that, I mean, he really laid the groundwork for that. So Joel has been very helpful with me during the transition also, and especially in this budgeting process that, you know, holding my hand and walking me through it. So, you know, we've spent a lot of time together on the budget so far, and we'll continue to do so. So, you know, again, I can't take any of the credit, and I'm not going to, because it was just set up. I'm just the right person at the right time here, so. But,
Great.
now, next year, we shall see.
Do you have anything that would be on the agenda for the finance and budget meeting for the 25th, next Monday?
No.
Okay. We cancel that, Roxanne? Thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Thank you, and
I got a mulligan.
All right.
I got a mulligan. I gotta
I
get
can
something
see
real quick. Hold on.
I didn't know he was gonna leave.
He's gonna give you an award.
Special day for somebody in the room, and nobody likes working on their birthday, but she did today, so we really appreciate that. You know, she keeps with us every day, keeps us straight, does a lot of stuff for us behind the scenes, does a lot of stuff, and believe it or not, Roxanne is celebrating her 39th birthday? Is that what it is? Okay. So let's have some cupcakes. Let's sing happy birthday to Roxanne. So, all right.
You start us off here.
You ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Roxanne. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Chocolate or white? Okay, here we go.
She has to type that in there.
Yes, she does.
White with white frosting.
White with white frosting. Okay, we can do that.
See, you might want to
We can do that.
or one of each.
That's why I put them out right now, so you
Yeah.
can enjoy them in executive session. See?
Happy
That's what
birthday,
we're trying to do.
Roxanne.
Yeah. Yeah. Pass them around.
Yeah,
We
wait
got
till-
enough for everybody even out here, so I apologize, they got, I'm not FedEx, you can tell the way it goes. Content during, so everybody out here gets one.
Better than FedEx, you got here on time.
Right.
Does that mean I get to stay for the executive session?
That's why it's staying, right? Yeah. See?
Oh, give him a little bit.
Should be enough, pass them around, have we got one?
Here's one, no.
Did we get one?
Yeah, you can pass it around.
Okay, so we're gonna go into executive session or something. Looks like a mess. Sorry, they got contents moved during shipping.
Any napkins, Mr. Mayor?
I don't have any napkins, Dan. Just gotta eat the old fashioned way, just eat with your fingers. Just
All right, while we're doing that, we can have a motion to go into a executive session for economic development related to requested incentives.
So moved.
Second.
Rox, please call the roll.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
All right, and can I have a motion to go into executive session for just personnel?
So moved.
Oh,
Sorry.
second.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan,
No?
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
All right. All right, can I have a motion to come out of executive session for economic development related to requested incentives?
So moved. Second.
All right, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
All right, no action taken. Can I have a motion to come out of executive session to discuss personnel?
So moved.
Motion. Oh, second.
Rox, please call the roll.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
All right, no action taken there either. All right, moving on to item M, approve financial reports and payment of bills. In the absence of any objections or corrections, financial reports and payment of bills shall stand approved. Hearing none, they stand approved. Have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Hey, Rox, please call the roll.
Ross,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes,
Lori,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
we're adjourned.
Seems like, yeah, that's a good way.
Thank you for spending your birthday with us.
Succinct way.
Mr. Mayor, I thought maybe you'd make the motion to